we need to speak about Arsenal and that left-hand side because, of course, Vinny Jr. extending at Real Madrid. Arsenal do like Kenan Yildiz at Juventus, but he only recently signed a new deal, so it might take an astronomical offer there. Julian Alvarez, key week ahead. He's held talks with Atletico Madrid. Player would like to join Barcelona. Atleti have said publicly that they don't wish to sell, and now it's on Julian Alvarez. What's the next step? Is he going to agitate and push for a move away, or is he going to accept that he's an Atletico Madrid player for the forthcoming season? And the reason why Arsenal are quite an interesting one to watch is if Atleti say, OK, we're going to sell you, but we don't want to sell you in La Liga, and we definitely don't want to sell you to Barcelona, then suddenly the door could be open for Arsenal. So they're alert to that opportunity, but nothing is moving at the time of recording. Iliman Ndiaye is quite an interesting one as well, a name that I revealed a few weeks ago on Talk Sport. And the player has turned down a move to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia because he wants to stay in the Premier League. Everton would love him to extend. No breakthrough at the moment. And let's see whether Arsenal decide to make an approach to Everton. He's one of several options, because the thing to understand is that even though I know in hindsight it looks like Vinny Jr. stayed and Arsenal were used as leverage, they were all in on Vinny Jr. and there were points in time where they were confident. So a lot of effort was put into waiting and seeing if Vinny Jr. would pick Arsenal, and now it's back to those recruitment meetings to decide who to go for next. And if they add on that left-hand side, which is the expectation, Gabriel Martinelli could be a potential exit to keep an eye on as well. And Galatasaray have been trying to get Rafa Leao over the line. I would say Leao is probably still their top choice, but negotiations have been difficult. And Gabriel Martinelli is another option. And there was a call between Galatasaray and Arsenal over the weekend just to explore the deal. And essentially, according to my information, Arsenal said it's completely the wrong timing to start potentially negotiating because they would have to add before they subtract. So Arsenal, I think, are going to be busy between now and the end of the window. A lot of people asking me about Bradley Barcola as well. Of course, Arsenal have an appreciation there, so we can't rule them out entering the race. As it stands, Liverpool feel in control, and Liverpool are playing intentionally a bit of a waiting games. They're not doing nothing. They're in regular contact with PSG, who play Aston Villa, let's not forget, this evening in the Super Cup. So that kind of pauses, to an extent, negotiations for 24, 48 hours. But Liverpool don't want to pay this 170 million euros asking price. And as a consequence, they're hoping it comes down. How is it going to come down? The answer, if PSG sign Ferran Torres, which is extremely close, as I reported yesterday, for somewhere between 50 and 55 million euros. And after the Super Cup, I expect that to be formalised this week. Barca prepared to sell players already agreed terms. That's one attacker through the door. Then you have Magnus Akliouche, who's joined from Monaco, 5-year contract, already official, and Mika Götze from Ajax, another target. And suddenly, as PSG add, sticking to this high number of 170 million euros for Bradley Barcola may not be the case anymore. And Liverpool feel that that price was almost the grandstanding and setting out a position in this inflated market before they made signings. But Barcola's only got 2 years left on his contract, and key to this is PSG don't like to keep players that don't want to be part of the project. So as of now, Barcola wants Liverpool. Let's see whether Arsenal enter the race. PSG would, of course, welcome a bidding war.
Let's get to the future of Miles Lewis-Skelly now, who is the subject of interest from a couple of Arsenal's rivals. Arsenal are playing tonight, actually, at the Emirates against Como. That is where Gary Cottrell is as well, right outside the Armoury, it looks like. Surely, Gary, Arsenal are not going to sanction selling one of their crown jewels.
It would be with a heavy heart. I think it would be also very unlikely, but of course in the transfer window nothing can be ruled out. He's one of their own, isn't he, Miles Lewis-Skelly, an academy boy. That's why the fans love him. He's come through the ranks. He's got into the first team, then out of the first team again, into the England setup. And Mikel Arteta likes him for that reason as well. He didn't cause any problems when he was not being given a game, being overlooked for that left wing-back position for most of last season, but he reinvented himself, didn't he, coming into midfield at the beginning of May, staying in the side in that crucial period where Arsenal needed to win, needed to pick up results, started the Champions League final, and by the way, has started all 3 of these friendly games so far this season, one of a handful of players to do so, and stayed on for the bulk of the second half as well, when Mikel Arteta has been making changes at half-time and throughout the second half. And I've seen 2 of those 3 games live, and he has impressed. He's done really well in that role in the midfield area, where, of course, it is now congested with the arrival of Guimaraes. And I think that the reason he's been playing is that Mikel Arteta wants to reassure himself that the Miles Lewis-Skelly we saw in that position at the end of last season doing so well is still doing well in that position. Also, of course, I guess some might say he'll have been playing in these friendlies to put him in the shop window, because if they do want to sell, other teams want to see how he's performing. And of course, it would be pure profit. They'd want 50 million, I think, at least for him. He's got a contract until 2030. That would be pure profit. Whereas the player I would think they'd be more likely to sell in terms of what's needed here at the club going forward, Zubimendi, of course, given that he was only bought last summer for a big fee, that wouldn't be pure profit. So, yeah, it certainly is one to watch. But the mood music I'm getting at the moment from Arsenal is that they don't want to sell him, they want to keep him.
Harry, talk to us about incomings, because we know Arsenal were unable to get Vinicius Jr. in the end last week. We know they are really desperate to get a left winger. Desperate's probably the wrong word, but they'd like to get a left winger. And at centre-back as well, there's been discussions about maybe bringing in another player. Do you think they need another defender, albeit William Saliba is going to miss some time now?
Well, on that left-sided attacker, I mean, Gustav Zollis has come in and done really well. A lot better, frankly, James, than many people thought he was going to do, given his history in English football. He's been really impressive, potentially man of the match in a couple of the games. And so I think a lot of people are looking at him and thinking, wow, you know, maybe he could be the answer in that position. But of course, Arsenal will be in the market for a marquee signing in that area if they can find the player. And in defence, they've had a few issues, let's face it. They've lost the last 2 friendlies heavily, haven't they, conceding 3 goals in each. And we know, like you've mentioned there, that William Saliba has got this kind of mystery back problem. No one is putting a finger exactly on what it is and how long he's going to be out. Mikel Arteta certainly wasn't giving a date after the game here on Sunday. He just said, look, you know, it's not going to be for the next few weeks. The thinking among Arsenal watchers that it may not be any time soon, so a few months into the season before he's ready to partner Gabriel. Mosquera is partnering Gabriel at the moment. Didn't work that well on Sunday. They'll be partnering again, Gabriel and Mosquera tonight, just to try and get them some minutes in their legs ahead of Manchester City in the Community Shield on Sunday, and then in 9 days' time.